Hi, this is Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter. Welcome to Job Search Radio.
Are you looking for a new job or interested in leveling up? Job Search Radio is your go-to resource for insider tips on job hunting and growing your career. Here's your host, Jeff Altman.
Welcome to Friday in Job Search Radio, episode 338. I'm your host, Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter. I help people and organizations play big. I worked as a recruiter for more than 40 years before moving full-time into coaching. And one thing I discovered a long time ago is that the skills needed to find a job are different than those needed to do a job. And salary negotiation, particularly for senior professionals, you guys are not as good as you think you are. You may have been involved with squeezing people, when you're trying to hire them, but it doesn't make you qualified to do it when you're in their seat. And I've seen so many times before people acting badly and getting the results that they deserve. I hope you find this show helpful. I hope it stems off some of the mistakes, and I hope you give it 5 stars on iTunes. Now, if you're early in your search, I'd love to help you. If you're interested in one-on-one coaching from me, email me at jeffaltman@thebiggamehunter.us. In the subject line, put the word coaching, and I'll be back in touch, and we'll figure out a time to speak. Now, with that, let's get going. I want to just speak with you and say that if you're working with a recruiter, I know this is hard. You have to trust them to do their job, which is to do the negotiation for you. Now, you get to the point where you have the offer or you're on the run-up to the offer. There's 2 different approaches, one from the contingency side, one from the retained side. I think the retained side finds it less difficult to do the negotiation. On the contingency side, there's a certain panic involved because there's that much more money that's involved in the way of commission. Also, the relationship often with the contingency recruiter isn't quite as strong as it is with the retained recruiter. So, again, knowing the relationship that your representation has with the client is going to be a big help to you. Now, let's assume it's a contingency recruiter, and you're on the run-up phase, and they say, so how much are you looking for again? I want to make sure I've got the numbers down right. Now, by this point, I want to make sure that you have an idea of what you'd be looking for from this firm based upon what you know of the role, what you know in the way of comparables for people like you. I'm not talking about those broad salary ranges. I'm just going to pick arbitrary numbers, 2 to 275. Everyone hears the 275, no one hears the 2, and certainly no one ever hears all the numbers in the middle. So recognize that's a pretty broad range. You want to get more targeted. And when the recruiter starts to talk you down, as often they will try to do, that may be a signal that they already know what the hiring firm is going to propose. So you can cut right through. Have you spoken with the firm? What's the number they're talking about? Let's just go right to it. So then this way, you can start working for the case why they have to up the number and why they have to represent you to up the number. Now, when push comes to shove, you may already know that if they offer 245, you'll take it. But they don't need to know that. You have to push for the biggest number because at this point, what they're trying to do is to squeeze you into that pocket that their client has been trying to wedge you into. And that may not necessarily serve their needs. So, again, give them the idea that you're going to do this, it's going to generate this amount of money, you're going to save this amount of money. And at the end of the day, the client may not shift, and you may go directly to the client. But initially, following the old Nixon proverb, trust but verify, you have to do a certain amount of trust because they've been representing up until this point. You want them to represent you across the finish line. If you get to a point where the client hasn't budged, could you schedule one more conversation for me? Great. They'll say, what's the intention? I'd like to just talk with them before I make my decision. It's a tough choice for me. It's an important choice for me. I want to make sure I have all the information I need to make my decision. Notice how non-committal that is, because you don't want to necessarily give the idea to that contingency recruiter that you'll take the offer if the client doesn't budge. You want to get them to move a little bit and get them a little bit more flexible. So on the retained side, like I said, you can lay out the case more directly because they tend to be more forthright because they have less money at stake. So again, from how you present it, you're always driving to the highest number. You don't have to be nice because at this point in the run-up phase, they may have an idea of the number that's being proposed. They may not, but normally they will. So just go right to it. What's the number that they're talking about? You can say, that's not going to be enough for me. I'm going to need them to make that second number as such and such, and work from there. Start working through them, and then again, go directly to the firm for one conversation. The ideal is if you walk in, but often that's not appropriate. Skype, FaceTime, phone call, however it works for you, set up one last conversation and then go for the close. However, in situations where there's a retained search, be prepared to say yes or no on the spot. You don't want to let that dangle on because often offers are rescinded. So that's today's show. I hope you found it helpful. And if you did, here's a few ways that you can connect with me. The first one is if you're interested in one-on-one coaching, email me at jeffoaltman@thebiggamehunter.us, and in the subject line, put the word coaching there. Coaching. And I'll get back to you. We'll set up a time for a preliminary conversation. My work is geared to those at a manager level and above, so take that into consideration. I haven't made exceptions for others, though. Next, if you're not at a manager level or above, the best way is through JobSearchCoachingHQ.com, where I've curated information from around the web that you can watch, listen to, or read to help you find work more quickly. Plus, I take questions from people as part of your membership at the site. Again, that's JobSearchCoachingHQ.com. If you only want to ask me questions, email me and make payment to thebiggamehunter@gmail.com. You make the payment through PayPal to that address, thebiggamehunter@gmail.com, and then forward the question to me. I'll donate a portion of that to charity, and thus you're helping others as well. Last things I want to mention, if we're not connected on LinkedIn, send a connection request to me at linkedin.com/IN/thebiggamehunter. And like me on Facebook. You can like the shows on Facebook. That's Job Search Radio on Facebook. And in addition, you can like Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter. Give me 5 stars on both. Leave a great comment. It helps other people discover the show. See you tomorrow.
If you would like to have Jeff give you advice about your job search, you'll love JobSearchCoachingHQ.com. This site has all of Jeff's books and guides to job hunting available free. The ability to have Jeff answer your questions, plus podcasts and videos that'll help you with all the different parts of a job search, including writing a winning resume and cover letter, great answers to interview questions, how to negotiate effectively, whether you want an easy way or want to get tough, plus a community of people like you who you can get advice from. The site again is JobSearchCoachingHQ.com. That's JobSearchCoachingHQ.com.